My name is Mia. I was born and raised in Virginia, a peaceful town where streets were lined with towering trees and rows of charming homes. It was in this quiet place that I spent most of my childhood, surrounded by the warmth and love of my parents. My mother was a gentle and kind-hearted woman, always greeting me with a warm smile from the early morning as she prepared breakfast, and still wearing that same tender expression well into the evening as she worked in our small but cozy kitchen. My father, on the other hand, was a man of few words but carried a deep sense of responsibility. He worked tirelessly to provide for us, ensuring our family was always safe and cared for. Though our house was modest, it overflowed with love, laughter, and the simple joys of togetherness. Looking back, those years seemed perfect, or at least that's what I believed at the time. But before we continue, make sure to subscribe to my channel so I can keep bringing you more fascinating true stories like this one. Trust me, you won't want to miss a second of this, because what happens next is about to take an unbelievable turn. When I was just 15, my world came crashing down. My mother, the heart of our home, passed away after a brief and unexpected illness. It all happened so quickly that I barely had time to process it. One moment she was there, her warm hands brushing against mine, her laughter filling the air. The next she was gone. The emptiness that followed was unbearable. Losing her was one thing, but watching my father sink into solitude in a house that once echoed with laughter was something else entirely. We continued living under the same roof, but everything had changed. The warmth, the light, the love, it all felt swallowed by an unspeakable grief. Every morning I forced myself to go to school. Every evening I returned to a house that no longer felt like home. The same kitchen, the same simple meals, but without my mother's presence, we were nothing more than two distant souls coexisting in silence. When I turned 18, my father remarried. The news shocked me. I understood he deserved a second chance at happiness, but accepting the reality of it was something else. His new wife, my stepmother, was a kind and graceful woman. She didn't force her way into my life but carried herself with quiet patience. Along with her came Alex, her son, a year younger than me. From the moment they entered our lives, it felt like my world had been turned upside down all over again. At first, having a stepbrother was strange. I had spent so many years alone with my father that adjusting to a new family dynamic felt overwhelming. Alex and I were both quiet, both uncertain of how to navigate this new relationship. It wasn't that he made me uncomfortable. He was just as lost in the situation as I was. Every evening, the four of us gathered in the living room. My father and stepmother would chat about work and their future plans while Alex and I sat in silence, exchanging hesitant glances filled with unspoken questions. But as time passed, our family meals became less awkward and more natural. Alex, though reserved, started showing small gestures of kindness, offering to help me with the dishes, serving me food at dinner. These little things, though seemingly insignificant, carried a weight I couldn't ignore. At first, I convinced myself I was overthinking it, that the way Alex looked at me was nothing more than how a younger brother admired his older sister. But deep down I knew better. There was something different. An undeniable tension that neither of us spoke about, yet both felt growing stronger with every passing day. I hated the way my heart raced whenever he was near. I despised how my thoughts drifted to places they had no business going. No matter how hard I tried to suppress it, the truth was undeniable. I had begun to see Alex as something more than just my stepbrother. One night, as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, I heard soft footsteps outside my door. Alex had a habit of stopping by my room late at night, sharing brief conversations before heading back to his own. It had become our small, unspoken routine. But that night, something felt different. When he slipped inside, he lingered longer than usual. His eyes held an intensity one wasn't accustomed to. It was as if he wanted to say something important, but the words wouldn't come. My heart pounded, the silence between us stretching unbearably. Without fully realizing what I was doing, I gave him a small nod, a silent invitation to stay a little longer. We sat there in the dim glow of the moonlight filtering through my window, Two people who should have been strangers but instead felt inexplicably close. If I were being honest with myself, I liked Alex more than I should have. He was handsome in a way that was impossible to ignore. The logical part of me screamed that this was wrong. We lived under the same roof, we were family in the eyes of the world. But logic couldn't stop the way my pulse quickened whenever he was near. And then one night everything changed. Our parents left for a 5-day trip, leaving Alex and me alone in the house. At first we saw it as a chance to relax. No rules, no supervision. But as the days passed, the tension between us grew unbearable. One evening we sat on the couch, watching a romantic movie neither of us really cared about. I had prepared snacks, dried squid, fresh fruit, a few cans of soda. We laughed, enjoying a rare moment of ease. Then suddenly a scene unfolded on the screen, a passionate, intimate moment between the main characters. The laughter died. The room fell into heavy silence, thick with unspoken words. I could feel Alex's gaze on me, the warmth of it creeping over my skin. My fingers tightened around my soda can, trying to steady myself. And then he moved. Without warning, Alex pulled me into his arms, his grip firm, decisive. His lips crashed against mine in a desperate, urgent kiss that sent shockwaves through my entire body. Every emotion we had buried, every feeling we had refused to acknowledge, came surging to the surface all at once. I should have stopped him. I should have pulled away, said something, anything. But I didn't. Couldn't. That night changed everything. From that moment on, the boundaries between us no longer existed. Our parents remained oblivious, but behind closed doors, Alex and I became something else entirely. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. We lived a double life, playing the role of perfect siblings in front of our parents, while in secret, we were tangled in something forbidden. But secrets like ours never stay hidden forever. Reality eventually caught up with us. Alex left for college, and the distance between us forced us to face the truth. Our relationship had no future. I moved on. Or at least I tried to. I threw myself into my career, found comfort in the arms of a man who offered me everything I thought I needed. We built a life together, got married, started a family. But even now, years later, the memories of Alex still linger. I look at my husband, the man who loves me unconditionally, and I wonder, should I tell him the truth? Would confessing my past shatter everything we've built? Or would keeping it buried be the only way to protect the life I've created? Now I turn to you, my audience. If you were in my shoes, what would you do? Would you reveal the truth, knowing the risk? Or would you bury the past, hoping it never resurfaces? Let me know in the comments below. I need your advice.